Hello students, today we are going to study plasmids. A note can be asked on a plasmid. So you will write down general information on the plasmid and then you will say use of plasmid as a vector in genetic engineering. Okay. So first definition of the plasmid. So plasmids are extra chromosomal. That means they are present outside the chromosome, nuclear material, DNA of the cell. So they're extra chromosomal, double stranded, circular, and self replicating DNA molecules present in some bacteria. Almost all bacteria they possess plasmids. Although the bacteria possess plasmids, plasmids are not essential for normal growth or a life or a functioning of the bacteria. But plasmids do possess certain gene which will give some character, some property to the host bacteria. Say for example, plasmid may contain gene for resistance to antibiotic. So if the bacteria possess the plasmid, then it will be resistant to the antibiotic. If plasmid is not present in that bacteria having that gene, then the cell will be sensitive to that antibiotic. So plasmids, they have a gene which will, because of that, the host will then get that character, like a drug resistance or production of the certain toxins. Okay. Um, so plasmids, they basically these plasmids they can transfer gene from one bacterium to another bacterium. So they have an ability to transfer the genes from one cell to another cell, and that's why they are important as a vector in the genetic engineering. Some plasmids are also present in the yeast. Plasmid, when it becomes a part of a bacterial chromosome. Sometimes, rarely, it can integrate into the bacterial chromosome, and in that state is called as the episome. So plasmids are usually extra chromosomal, but some plasmids they have an ability to enter into the bacterial DNA, and such plasmids are called as the episomes. So this is the bacterial DNA, and in that the plasmids are present. You can see a bacteria possesses more than one type of a plasmid inside. Okay. So as you have seen, plasmids are very small in size as compared to that of a bacterial DNA. That is about 1 to 100 kilo base pairs. Means kilo is 1000. Okay. So 1000 to 100,000 base pairs are present in the plasmid, and the plasmids are may make up about 0.5 to 5% of the total bacterial DNA. Okay. Very important that all plasmids they have origin of replication for that host, and this is the point from which DNA replication of a plasmid will start. Okay. So as plasmids, they have origin of replication. They can replicate on their own without any help of a bacterial chromosome. So replication of a DNA starts from this point. Okay. Naturally occurring plasmids, they carry one or more genes, and these genes they confer certain property like a resistance to antibiotic to the organism which bear it. Okay. Some plasmids they carry gene for production of the certain poisons or the antibiotics. So antibiotic synthesis gene or the production of the certain poisons like a colicine, they are present in the on the plasmid. Types of the plasmids. So plasmids may be conjugative or may be non-conjugative. What are conjugative plasmids? They have an ability to transfer the genes or transfer themselves from one cell to other cells. So conjugative plasmids, they are capable of transferring themselves naturally from one cell to other cell. Okay. And for that, they possess a gene, transfer gene or TRA gene. So conjugative plasmids are transferable, carry TRA gene, and they facilitate the transfer by a process called as a conjugation. Now, they can transfer themselves, as well as they can transfer any other plasmid which is present in the cell which is not transferable. Okay, so they can mobilize themselves as well as they can mobilize or transfer the other plasmids which are not conjugated. Okay, so non-conjugated plasmids, they do not possess transfer gene and hence they cannot initiate their own transfer. So they will remain in that cell only, but from one cell, a donor, they will not go to the other cell, that is a recipient. Okay. But if the cell contain one conjugative plasmid and one non-conjugative plasmid, then this non-conjugative plasmid can be mobilized by using this conjugative plasmid. Okay. Then types of the plasmid depending upon their number present in the cell. So that is called as a copy number. So accordingly, the plasmids are stringent plasmids. So plasmids which are present in a low copy number 1 to 4 per cell, they are called as stringent plasmids. While the other plasmids are called as relaxed plasmids, where the copy number is high, maybe about 10 to 100 per cell. Conjugative plasmids are usually large. They show stringent control on the DNA replication and hence they are present in the low number, but they are capable of transferring from one cell to others. On the contrary, non-conjugative plasmids are usually small. They show relaxed control on the DNA replication and hence they are present, they replicate fast and hence they are present in a high copy number in the cell. Different types of the plasmid depending upon the property they encode or the genes they possess. Uh, say first type of the plasmid is a fertility plasmid or F plasmid, and these F plasmid possess the TRA genes, so they are capable of conjugation. Conjugation is a process in which two bacteria they come in a physical contact with each other. They form a bridge between them, called as a conjugation bridge, and they will be transferred from the plasmid will be transferred from the donor to that of a recipient. So they are transferring themselves by a process called as a conjugation. And this fertility plasmid, they have a gene. With the help of that, they are able to produce F pili or the sex pile. Okay. Then the resistance plasmids are the plasmids which possess a gene which provide resistance to the organism against antibiotic or certain poisons. Third type of the plasmids are called plasmids. They have a call genes and they contain the gene that encode for the bacteriocins or proteins that can kill other bacteria. Okay, so bacteriocin is a protein produced by one bacterium which is able to kill the another bacterium. Okay, so these are some relative, what you can say, similar type of organisms. Okay. So um, E. coli has a col plasmid which produces a colicin. Similarly, plasmid which is present in the Pseudomonas which produces the piocin. Okay. Then degradative plasmids are the plasmids which have enzymes which have genes which will produce enzymes which are able to degrade very complex unusual substances like a toluene and salicylic acid. Such degradative plasmids are present in the Pseudomonas organism, and in Pseudomonas is capable of causing a degradation for variety of the complex recalcitrant matter. Okay. Then virulence plasmids. The virulence plasmids are the one which, when present in the organism, make the organism pathogenic, increase the ability of organism to cause a disease and an infection. Okay, so we are in case of the Agrobacterium tumefaciens, this bacterium has a plasmid called as a TI plasmid, and this tumor-inducing plasmid. When this plasmid is having the vir genes, VIR genes, virulence gene, which make the organism capable of causing a disease or a tumor in the plant. Okay, so it is a virulence factor that is present in the Agrobacterium tumefaciens. Then next is the incompatibility typing, that we have seen that some of the bacteria they contain different types of the plasmid. More than one type of the plasmid may present. Okay. So when two different plasmids are present in one organism, these plasmids are said to be compatible with each other. They can live in the same cell. Okay, but the plasmids which are similar to each other, they cannot remain together in a one cell. So closely related plasmids, they do not coexist stably in same bacterial cell. So when the plasmids are totally different from each other, they can stay in one cell. If they are similar, they cannot stay in one cell. So depending upon the basis of whether they are able to exist together or not able to exist together, there are incompatible groups. So plasmids which are present in one group can coexist, but plasmids which are present in another group cannot coexist. So this is called the incompatibility of the plasmid. Then plasmid are very useful vectors in the genetic engineering. And why the plasmids are one of the important vectors or useful vectors for genetic engineering? Because they you can prepare synthetically a plasmid which is having all desirable properties, and they can be used as a vectors. And to be a vector, we have already seen that this plasmid should be small, it should replicate faster, so it should be present in a cell, what you can say, in a high copy number, and it should be, when it is small, it is easy to purify because it will not break down during the purification or isolation process. Okay. We should know the DNA sequence of a plasmid, and it should have a selectable marker, it should have origin of replication, and it should possess very important thing, main sites for many restriction endonucleases, but this site should be unique. That means only one site for one enzyme. So this is overall the plasmid structure should be. So plasmids, they should have a origin of replication. They should have a certain sites for recognition of the enzymes. So you can see this plasmid is having the sites for 4 different enzymes, and it should have a certain selectable marker. Like we have seen the beta galactosidase enzyme or the phylacoperon, or you can say antibiotic resistant gene. Such they should be present so that you are able to select the cell which contains this plasmid. Functions of the plasmid, that we have already seen that plasmids are not essential for the survival. That means even if you remove the plasmid, cell is able to survive. Okay, but these plasmids, they may have a certain genes. Because of that, they will confer certain function, certain property to the cell. Okay. Uh, as we have seen that these plasmids, say like all plasmids, they have a ability to produce certain toxic chemicals, and these toxic chemicals are able to kill other organisms. So this will give enough property to the organism to survive over the others. Will kill and will be able to survive in that particular environment. So that is one of the importance of the plasmid. That plasmid may contain the genes that enhance the survival of organism by killing the other organism, or by defending the host, or by producing the toxins. Okay. And as we have seen that plasmids, they contain genes which will confer certain property to the cell, like they will, because the presence of plasmid, bacteria are able to carry out the conjugation, bacteria become resistant to the antibiotics, bacteria may produce certain bacteriocins like a colicin or a pyocin to kill other bacteria. Bacteria are able to digest very complex substances, and plasmids may make the organism virulent, capable of causing disease to the organism. So girls, this is a short note can be asked on this plasmids. So you should be ready with.